Hello, this is Mr. McMurray. I am going to be your teacher for physics, physical science 1417. Uh, Welcome to the class, and hopefully you're keeping warm wherever you are. It's a little chilly this morning, but that's good. Hopefully you're either watching this on the webpage or possibly in an email before the class opens. And like I said, just welcome you to the course. We'll be covering mostly chemistry and geology and meteorology and some astronomy at the end. All right, and so that's kind of the content we will do. So first of all, I'd like to just take you through the web page and show how that works, the Canvas website. Um, if you've gotten into Canvas, you should have something like this. It may look a little different on yours because this is my screen and I have some other junk here, but you should have a physical science 1417 2.01. All right, 201.2024, the spring semester. That is us. So if you click on that, all right, that should get you into our course. Now, a couple things. I'm going to go to student view first, so hopefully it'll look more like what yours looks like. All right. But that's an important thing. I do not always see what you see. And so things may look great from my end and from your end, it's a big mess. Okay. So by any means, if you find something wrong or it needs to be corrected or something that hasn't been, for some reason, it's not downloading like it should or something, by all means, shoot me an email. Let me know so I can fix that. Okay. But yeah, so here you are at the page. Here's the video, which will look slightly different because I'm going to use a different video to put there, but you can click on that and watch it again if you just were so fascinated by it the first time that once was not enough. All right. So basically, it's going to be a Canvas course. A couple things about the web page over here. Check on grades. You can go there. The modules, which we'll talk about in a minute. Conference or big blue button. If you are unable to come on a Thursday night, some kind of emergency or something, I will usually try to record the lecture, but it's not going to be where I do everything in front of the camera and everything. It'll kind of just be the whole classroom, but it'll at least have you an opportunity to check that. If you click on the big blue button there, well, can't do it yet because the course isn't open. But anyhow, it will take you to, you can see the conferences for that day. And it takes a few hours after the class for them to post, but you can see them there. And in case you miss them. Of course, obviously you want to be there so you can hear my jokes and all that stuff firsthand. But if not, that I try to do that so at least if we talk about upcoming work and assignments, you can do that. Okay. There's a bunch of other stuff over here. We'll talk about some of it and so forth. The other thing is over here, you will have a to-do list. Okay, and this will show anything that is upcoming. You'll notice some of these are fairly short things. Some of them you just have to click on that you've read it and agree to it, like the integrity policy and the online student statement. Those are real quick. There's an introduction thing where you just kind of give a little introduction of yourself, let me know a little bit about you while you're taking the class. If you want to send a picture, that's great. Whatever. Just kind of get to know everybody a little bit. Then there's a quiz, 2 quizzes that'll be coming up, or questions and a quiz. So it just anything that's coming up pretty much within the next week. All right, don't panic. Some of those are very small, easy assignments. Okay, some will take a little bit longer. All right. So if you come down here, it says it'll be administering Canvas. If it's your first time taking a class, that's kind of why we're trying to help you here. We are a hybrid class, so we will meet on every Tuesday night at 6:30 to 7:45 at the Weatherford College Wise County campus. All right, and I believe room 208. And so we will meet there. That class will primarily be doing demonstrations and explanations. It will not cover everything because I can't do the lecture and do the lab demos type things as well. So there will be videos that you'll watch for the actual lecture. Okay, so just keep in mind you need to do more than just what you see there. That will not cover it. But let's get to the syllabus first. There's a place here to click on syllabus. You may have noticed there's also a place you could download it, either as a PDF or a Word document, whichever works best for you. All right, and so basically, like I said, room 208. There's my email. You can always get in contact with me. I don't constantly check my email, but I try to check it at least a couple times a day, so I'll get back to you as quick as possible. You can also, before class, I'm usually up at the school before the class and stuff like that if you need to talk to me about something. All right. Course description, like we said, it's going to cover chemistry, geology, meteorology, and astronomy. Very practical. How does this affect our lives and things like that? So I think it'll be interesting, hopefully. for everybody. Like I said, we will meet on Thursday nights. Uh, you will also have videos that cover the whole lecture or the content that we're going to be covered. They can be viewed online. There'll be some questions. It says out of the book, but don't worry about that. They're just posted on there. And article summaries um, that we'll do two of during the semester, probably. All right. You will take quizzes at home. For example, if we have class on Tuesday, you have till Wednesday, Saturday to turn in your questions, which are the big assignment usually each week. And then starting on Saturday, you have from Saturday to Monday to take the quiz. All right. About every 4 weeks, we'll have an exam. And when we do that, you will have from Monday to Thursday of that next week to take that quiz. All quizzes and tests will use the Lockdown browser program. So if you haven't got that downloaded, you will need to do that. And there should be a link over here on the side, which I'm not seeing. So I'll make sure that's over here, Lockdown browser. And you can click on that and it will allow you to download that program and get it set up on your computer. Okay. All right, textbook and supplies. Now, this year, they have a textbook that is available online through the Canvas, and you would just have to go over here to McGraw-Hill Connect and click on that, and it would eventually take you to a page where you can see that book. This is not the book that we had when we started the course, so it may not correlate very well. Okay, so what I would say is that you need, if the course is really designed so you can watch the lectures, and if you come to the class, that pretty much should cover everything that's on the test. So some people choose not to get a text and did that okay. Other people prefer to having a text. I kind of did a survey last year unofficially, and it was kind of split. The book I recommend is this one. This is the book that we originally used when we first started the course and set up it, and it correlates closest to this one. It's called Conceptual Physical Science Explorations. I think you can see on the screen here. If you go online, you can usually find it for $10, $11, $12, under $20 anyhow. You can usually find it in addition to that. If you can't find that one with the explorations in it, the same authors wrote this book, which is Conceptual Physical Science. There's a couple different editions. I wouldn't worry about that so much, but it has almost exactly the same authors, and the units are separated a little differently, but it pretty much covers the same material. So if you would like to go online and get a used copy of that, if that is helpful to you, some of the students found it helpful. Some students said no, it was fine with just using what was online. So that's totally up to you. I don't know if you have the option to actually opt out of this book. If you do, you could probably opt out of that and just get one of the other ones, and it might give you some money back. But I don't know that it will let you do that. So you can check that out and see. I don't know for sure. But basically, you just need that. You need something to take notes on. You need a basic calculator. We won't do a lot of math, but you might occasionally. All right. Nothing your phone couldn't handle, I'm sure. All right. Attendance, obviously, it'd be good for you to be there. Basically, the way the classes are set up, you get 5 points for every time you're there. You do not get penalized if you're not there, because I don't try to get into excused and non-excused absences and things like that, or was it a good reason, or was it making up reasons? That's not my concern. My job is I want you to be there. I think it'll help you to be there. If students are there, I think they learn the material better. So you get 5 points for being there. There's nothing, you just don't get any points if you're not there. Okay. Once again, if you're not there, I will try to do the big blue button conference thing over here and put that up there. All right. There will be 4 different exams, which will make 65% of your grade. About every 4 or 3 or 4 chapters. The first one is 4 chapters. The next one's 3 chapters, then 4 chapters, and 3 chapters. Okay. That's just kind of the way it works out because we have about 14 weeks. Okay. And so, those 4 grades will make up 65%. The 4th one will be counted as your final. It will count. You have to take it. But encourage everybody to push on strong to the end. If you have a higher grade on that 4th exam than one of your first 3, I will also count it as one of those other grades. All right, so that's just kind of encourage everybody to do good all the way to the end. All right, 25% of your grade, 1/4 of it will be based on the labs. Since we don't really just have labs when we come and meet, it's actually the lab questions, which are kind of based on the chapter, but that'll be 25% of your grade. All right. And finally, the last 10% will become from the quizzes, the article summaries and other work, but primarily your quizzes will be the main thing there. All right. I will place an outline of my notes. Uh, they are just kind of they've been heavily redacted, and so a lot of times just has all the terms under each point and stuff. And so just kind of give you a guide to take notes through, but it's not really a copy of the notes. It's a kind of an outline of the notes. Obviously, you need to take notes as you listen to the video lectures and are in class, and that those will be the most useful ones. But that's just kind of help you set that up. There is late work. Obviously, if it's late, it's going to be penalized. And sometimes if you say, hey, I was out of town or whatever happened, and you need to get something to me and it's closed, I may just say email it to me. That's fine. But just kind of check with me on that kind of thing. Class schedule. This basically just tells you the week of what we will be covering. The units, it says chapters, but technically it should be units, but whatever. If you were using the book that we talked about, the Conceptual Science Explorations, it starts actually with chapter 15 because it's the second half of the book and goes from there. But basically, you can say we go through chemistry, spend a lot of time on chemistry, then we switch, do a little bit of nuclear energy, and then we switch over to geology for a while, and then we have a little bit of weather and astronomy at the end. All right, that will be our final exam there. These should be the weeks of our exams, but we always have bad weather, various things like that that might come into the equation. So we will see how that goes. Okay. Like I said, there'll be 2 summary papers that you will have to turn in. I will give you an article. It does not ask you for any kind of creative writing or really original input on your part. It basically wants you to reword it, the article, and give me the main points of it. Okay. Everybody always wants to have a fancy intro and a nice conclusion at the end, and that's great. And I understand that English teachers want you to do that when you're writing your own paper, but this is a summary paper. And so I just want to know, it's kind of like if I were your boss and I gave you this article and said, hey, read this, tell me all the important stuff. I don't have time to read it myself, so just let me know all the important stuff. And so that's basically what I want you to do with that. We'll talk more about that as we get there. But basically, it uses the swimsuit rule, which is it needs to be long enough to cover everything, but short enough to still be interesting. All right. All right. Don't give me a Speedo paper. We'll talk about that later. All right. Grading criteria, basically A is 90 to 100, 80 to 89 is B, so forth. You can see that. And there's the percentages again. And then there's the kind of information at the end there that's on all of those. All right. So you can find this syllabus on the webpage, or you can also find it. You can download it and print it off if you would like. All right. So go back to the home page. There's a place you can get it for Word, or you can get it as a PDF. All right. Now, to actually use the web page to do assignments and so forth, here's what we'll do most of the time. All right. We have buttons down here. If you click on them, they will take you to modules. You can go over here and click on modules, and it will do the same thing. But if I course introduction, here's 3 things I need to do. I need to sign off on the academic integrity policy, the online student statement, and I need to do an introduction. All right. All of them are due by January the 20th. All right. Now, the next unit is atomic structure. I'm going to skip it for a second because the first 2 units have a few more extra assignments. Let's look at the third one first, okay? Chemical bonding and attraction. Usually there's going to be 2 note outlines. One is as a doc, Word doc. One is as a PDF. Whichever you prefer, you can download it and use it, okay? If you want to type into it, obviously you probably need the Word doc. It'll probably be easiest to do that for. If you just want it as a guide to look at, then you may want to do PDF. If you're doing it on your phone or tablet, it may be easier to use that. Then there's going to be a set of videos. If you click on the videos, it will take you to a page. And basically, it says, here you go. Here's what you need to do. These are usually about 15-minute videos because first, that was the only, as long as you could make them on the free Screencast-O-Matic, which is all we had when I first did it. But actually, it's probably a good thing because if you fall asleep during a 15-minute video, it's not that hard to find out where you drifted off. And maybe you'll make it through the whole thing without falling asleep if Mr. McMurray is kind of interesting. Okay, so they're about 15-minute segments. The last one may or may not be a full 15 minutes. Then may have a few other videos here, like this one has a bonus video with some dogs and talking about chemical bonding. Okay, I like that one. But anyhow, so that's it. You need to watch those, take notes over them, and so forth. Okay, some will have more, some will have less. So just keep in mind that takes a while, but these cover all the information. Okay. Then when we meet in person, I will go over, try to hit the high points and most of the information, but also we're going to be doing labs and demos and things like that to help make the points make more sense, hopefully. But you'll need to do that for each chapter. Okay. After you've watched the videos, it'd be great if you did that before you came to class. Okay. But I realize that in some cases that will not happen, a lot of cases probably. Anyhow, then you will have questions. Okay. The lab questions. It's not going to let you see it, but it will have the questions printed out. Tell you what, let me get out of student view for a second and see if it'll let me show you that. All right, it will have, look something like this. You can download it as a Word document, type your answers in, and send it back to me. That's fine. If you do that, please type in a non-black font or bold. Some people bold their answers. I just want something to make the answers stand out so they're not all blending in with the questions. Okay, it makes it a lot easier for me to grade, and you don't want me to be in a gripey mood when I'm grading the papers, right? I mean, you want me to be positive about it. Okay. You can also just type in your answers directly to that and submit it, or you can also download it as a PDF if that helps. Okay. All right, and so those they are worth. There's 26 questions, and it'll be worth 26 points. It tells you when they're due, and so forth. Okay, that's the questions. Now, sometimes I grade these as completion grades. I think what I'm going to do this is try to grade some of the papers, but it's difficult for me to always, since people are always turning them in, to get them graded and back to you before you take the quiz, and sometimes some formats won't let me mark up the paper and show what was right or wrong. So I will post the answers on Sunday mornings. Now, granted, the questions are due Saturday, so Sunday morning I will post the answers. You can also take the quiz on Saturday. So if you take the quiz on Saturday, obviously you're not going to have a chance to check your answers. I highly recommend to check your answers, make sure you got them correct, because I do not grade every single answer, and I just more check over them. It's more of a completion grade. Although if I see some things that are really off, I'll say, nope, that's definitely wrong. I'm going to mark that. So definitely check your answers. I recommend that before you take the quiz. But if you feel like you're in good shape, then you can go ahead and take the quiz on Saturday, and that'll be fine. But yeah, that's the questions, and then you will submit those online. All right. If we go back to our module here. All right, go to 3. Then you will have, tip 3. All right, so you do your outlines of your notes, you watch the videos and take notes, you have the questions to answer and turn back in, and then there will be a quiz. All right, and so for the quiz, I'm not going to click on it because then I'd show you all the questions, and you wouldn't want to have to know that already. But notice they do require the respond to lockdown browser. They're usually about 10 to 15 questions, and so make sure you've downloaded the browser so you can do that. That's the general outline for most chapters, and they will all pretty much follow that. The outlines, the videos, the questions, and a quiz. All right. However, the first couple have some extra stuff because there's a periodic table that you can download. There's a thing of the 27 most common elements. All right. And I guess it's not going to show it. Yeah, it's going to show it. Just take a little while. I will not give you a test per se over these, or you have to tell me the names and so forth or the symbol. But if you don't already recognize what these are, AT helium or AG silver, AU gold, MG magnesium, K potassium, whatever, these would be good ones to make sure that you know these, okay? Normally I would give you about 45 of them, but for what we're doing in this class, I think 27 is good. You just need, they're real common ones that you just need to be aware of, okay? And of the names and the symbols. All right, you do not have to turn that in. It's not a grade or anything, but it is important that you know it. So I have that there. Like I said, there's a copy of a periodic table here. All right, if you have another periodic table or the inside of your book has one or something, that's fine. But there's a periodic table if you need one, because we will obviously be using the periodic table a lot. Hopefully you won't have flashbacks to high school chemistry where painful memories or anything. I hope not. All right, then, but it still has the note outlines. It still has the lecture videos, and it still has the lab questions. Now, some of these will have another worksheet on here. All right, and so these worksheets will just be ones that cover some of the stuff we talked about, and and they're just skills that you need to know for the quiz. Okay, once again, this one right now at least is not for a grade, but I would recommend you do it, and I will post the answers on this Sunday morning for those so you can check and see if you have the right answers. All right, so those are there for yours. Even though they're not a grade, I do highly recommend you do them. All right. There's an elementary quiz where you can just practice your elements and their names and their symbols, but it's not a grade or anything. It's for 0 points, not to worry about it. And then finally, there's a quiz over that chapter. So the same basic structure, but it may have some extra assignments in there for some of these chapters and things like that. Okay, but this is where you do it. Now, if you go, you can click on modules and get here, but that will always take you to the top of the page, which is okay when we're on the first unit or the second unit or the third unit. But generally, as we get farther along, it's easier just to go to the home page and click on whichever chapter you want to go to, and it will take you directly there. Okay. Now, a couple things besides the units. Obviously, here's one for articles. These will be the articles that you will write. Okay. I don't remember off the top of my head when they're due, but they are listed on there. This tells you the first article. Okay, and then here's your second article. Okay, so this will take you to the articles and show you, tell you a little bit about them, how they need to be done, what kind of font, what kind of margin you need to have, cover page if you need one, but does not count as part of your length of the article, by the way. Some people like to put their whole heading and whole stuff, and it takes up almost a third of the page. That doesn't count, okay? We're talking about the length of your article. Anyhow, all that stuff is in here in the article button, okay? The other main button down here at the bottom is the exam study materials, okay? Say you finish the first unit, you've turned in your questions. You want to check your answers, that you would go here. So we're going to be exam number 1, so we'll click on that. And it would give you the answers to the review questions if we had a worksheet or whatever. And so it would have those. At this point, none of them are highlighted, which means the answers are not there. But on Sunday morning or sometime later Sunday afternoon, I will have posted those and they will be highlighted and take you as a link to those materials. Okay. All right. So that's the study materials. That's where you find the answers to the questions that you need to check each week. Now, if you go click to exam 4, that takes you just to the module to the 4th exam, and then you can click and go directly to it. Okay, so whichever exam you're taking, you can do that. All right, but the big thing is that button will take you to the answer keys for the questions each week and any worksheets that you may have had. All right, just for the record, all the questions are available from day 1. So if you want to go start answering watching those videos and answering all those questions right in the first couple of weeks and get them all done, you may certainly do that. Okay, they are available. Other things like the quizzes, of course, and the tests will only be available once they're open. But the questions are there. So if you're one of those people who don't wait till the last minute, this is your chance to do that. All right. Other than that, I will see you on Tuesday night. And I hope you enjoyed the course, and I'm looking forward to teaching it this semester.